Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for streaming with us on this Thursday. We're so happy to have you with us. I'm Aungelique Proctor, and we have a lot of news and, of course, weather to get to today. If you've been following along, you know the big story is what is expected this weekend, a winter storm that's making its way to North Georgia. So, yeah, a lot of concerns about power outages that could be in store as well, because ice is the big story here, not snow, of course. So our Kim Loeffler is joining us now. She's at Georgia Power's headquarters with more on what they're saying we can do to prepare. Kim?
Well, Georgia Power has crews stationed all throughout our area ready to respond to any power outages with this system. As you mentioned, ice is going to be the big concern, and all of that extra weight of ice bringing down trees and power lines. Now, some arborists are very concerned about the trees falling with the ice and obviously all the dense tree canopy we have here in North Georgia. Obviously, Snowmageddon, that so many of us remember, in 2014 left hundreds of thousands without power throughout the area. Now, Georgia Power says it's bracing for significant, long-lasting power outages over the weekend, and they have crews ready to respond to restore power. Some residents, though, are already taking steps to stock up on necessary supplies to prepare for these potential power outages.
And just make sure, really, I had plenty of batteries, and I ordered a couple of the portable power packs that have an AC outlet.
Always think about your generator and making sure that it's prepared for the weather. Make sure you get it started and it's running properly. And when you are running your generator, make sure you're running it away from your windows and outside of your house.
And Georgia Power is also encouraging people to make sure there's a plan in place for their family if they do lose power, to make sure they have an emergency kit with non-perishable food items, flashlights and batteries, as well as first aid supplies. They also remind people to not touch any down power lines you may see, and also don't try to remove any down trees or tree lamps that are on power lines yourself. Of course, we're also going to be with you throughout the weekend, both here on Fox Local and on air as well, to keep you safe and informed. For now, in Atlanta, Kim Loeffler for Fox Local.
Okay, sounds like we have a checklist of things that we need to do before this weekend hits. So, Kim, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. Glad to hear Georgia Power's on top of things. All right, our time is 11:03 now, so let's get you caught up on the forecast as we take a live look right now at Helen, Georgia. So, rain for us here in the metro today, but that's really not the big story and not really what the conversation's about. So, meteorologist Jonathan Stacy is joining us now. Oh my gosh, y'all been so busy, Jonathan.
Oh, and it's just beginning.
Right.
I will say one of the things about this storm that we may appreciate in hindsight is how much lead time we had. We started talking about the storm as early as Sunday night, and we have obviously been making preparations ever since then. Basically, we're going to have to see how this thing all pans out, but we have had plenty of time. Therefore, our government officials, our agencies across the area, have had an appropriate amount of time to prepare. This storm did not sneak up on us by any degree. At this point, we're just waiting to see how this is going to really kind of all pan out. So in advance of that, there is a winter storm watch that is in effect for all counties that are mainly to the north of the Atlanta metro area. We're talking about from the northwestern corner of the state, Dade County, going all the way to our northeasternmost corner. That includes Rabun County. And these watches drift as far south as Oconee and Clark counties as you look out to the east. So that said, our main issue of the morning is not winter weather, but it is wet weather. An umbrella is of a necessity over the next 24 to 48 hours because it's all a wet weather system. Although it's chilly outside, temperatures are nowhere near freezing. Let's zoom out here. You can see here a cold front is driving through the area, and what that will do, it will lay the stage for a reinforcing shot of cold air to be in place by the time our winter weather system arrives. So while these two systems are different in the precip, basically they're playing off each other. This is opening the door for even colder air to move in on the backs of high pressure. So let's play a game of Where is Waldo? So which L is going to be our problem L? Not the one over in San Francisco, not the one near the bay, but the one that is hanging out on either side of the New Mexico-Colorado state line. You see that area of low pressure there? It has no moisture associated with it right now. It looks like it's just this little thing that basically is kind of lost out just to the east of the Four Corners there. But it's going to feed off of some Pacific moisture and some Gulf moisture over the next 48-hour period. And let's watch it here. It gathers its strength and it comes plowing across the south. And as it does that, it's going to tap into that cold air. By the time you rise on Saturday morning, I want to be very clear with this here. Saturday morning at this point is now not a major problem. I think I got some double negatives in there. I don't want you to be concerned about Saturday morning in the way we were just 24 hours ago. Now, obviously the timeline will change, but I'm just going to give you real-time information and we'll keep on updating it. So if I want you to be concerned about Saturday morning again, just listen to me. And if I say that later, you can be concerned about Saturday morning. The here and now, there were a lot of people who had plans, maybe travel plans, folks maybe with some funerals, weddings and things like that. Like, should we call off things altogether? I don't want anything major to be totally axed out Saturday morning because I think it's going to be a watch and wait system. By the time we get into the PM period, okay, that's when you need to really take the weather seriously and be ready to shelter in place. Because the model is holding that warm front, which is going to make the difference in all of this, is going to stay down to our south. And that cold air that will be lodged up against the Appalachian Mountains is going to basically say, we can't get over the mountains, so what we're going to have to do is drift down across North Georgia. It's going to ride on through the day, Saturday evening, into Sunday overnight, and then there will be splotches of a wintry mix as we go throughout the day on Sunday. That said, by Monday morning, I hope we can put all this in our rearview mirror. It looked like for a while that we would end it with some snow, but I think it will be ended with some rain. At this point, this is more of a high-end expectation of an inch of ice here in Atlanta going up to Canton, with a brunt and the focus of this being between 400 and 985, going up 85, going out east, Athens, Covington, all in the mix there. There are other models that are just basically saying it's a northeastern quadrant of the state that will face the greatest impacts. Let's show this here for S's and giggles, if you will. This is for snowfall. Let's run the clock. You don't see any snowfall. Let's run the clock. No snowfall. So snow is not a part of the conversation. That was something that people kept asking me yesterday on IG. When is the snow coming? It's not snow. So the snow won't come.
Okay.
And if it does come, we'll have to discuss why it didn't happen. We'll do an autopsy of it all. Before we leave you here, Elise, I want to show you two scenarios here. This is a scenario for wintry mix, but of an isolated to scattered variety. That area of low pressure, it refuses to hug the Gulf Coast and it moves far to the north. As it moves to the north, it brings in warm air with it. That warm air even reaches into the Tennessee Valley, and basically it's going to be a fight between the Alabama-Georgia state line to see if the cold air is going to win out or the warm air is going to win out. This shows that the warm air could probably take the win. A more wintry scenario will be if that low hugs the Gulf Coast. We're talking about the state line of Florida and Alabama for that matter, and it has more of a southern trek. That gives that cold air plenty of room to take over, lay hold, and therefore when the moisture meets it, it will be below freezing in most cases, and therefore you will have that great threat for ice. So at this point, I'm setting my focus for the greatest impacts across northeast Georgia, Gainesville, and everywhere to the north, even going out east towards Athens. In terms of northwest Georgia, you're not in the clear by any measure or any means. The same for the metro area, but it's going to be a knife edge call based on the data that we see at this time. The best place to be is on the south side or even down into central Georgia, because it will likely be more chilly rain than actual freezing rain when it comes down to the system. Nonetheless, it is about to be kind of tumultuous next 72-hour period. By the time we wake up Monday morning, temperatures are going to be below freezing for the entirety of the day. That said, even if you get wet weather and you don't have freezing rain Saturday and Sunday, there is a threat for black ice area-wide. So I do not want to rule out schools closing even on the south side as we wake up on Monday morning.
Wow.
That was a lot.
Yeah, so that's a lot to unpack. And you're right, we did have a lot of questions about what's happening. You guys have been doing such a good job of keeping us up to date on this, right?
Yeah.
Like this has been something else. So the big takeaways here: you don't need to be shopping for a sled. You don't need to be shopping for anything like that. But it's going to be cold. We could lose power, so you're probably going to get those. Your flashlight. You need your batteries. You need to have the essentials.
You want all that, and really what you want to think about is, okay, if I can't leave home and my power's out. So what happens, because oftentimes we think, okay, let me run to the gas station or let me run here and get something at the last minute. So you want to act like you're kind of stuck.
Okay.
And prepare to be stuck in your car, because sometimes things can happen that we least expect, but also most importantly, be prepared to be stuck at home for a period of time. What will that mean for you, your kids, your neighbors, anyone else who you're concerned about?
Okay, that also means that store shelves are taking a hit.
I was looking for generators on Amazon yesterday. I think I will have the blessing of being here at the station where we have a big generator.
Right. Oh, you're set here.
I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
You're locked in.
But no, Amazon is not delivering any generators to Metro Atlanta within the next 7 days.
Okay. Well, we do have Tyler fingered. He's at a Walmart. I think he's in Chamblee. Maybe there's some there. I know folks are doing some shopping today just to try to get all prepared for this. Hey, Tyler, good morning.
Hey, Elise, good morning to you. You guys were talking about what people should have on hand, and many people are coming out to the Walmart Chamblee Supercenter to stock up on items that they may need just in case the weather turns sour to the point where they may not be able to get on the road. You think food, but you also think some of these. You guys were talking about flashlights, portable power banks, also some cold weather gear, lots of different things. We see some salt right here. You want to make sure that you can actually walk on sidewalks or be able to get your car out if the roads are good to go. Also water on this side over here. I just want to bring in the store manager for this location, Tyrese Douglas. What have you guys been seeing in terms of the number of folks coming in, and what are they buying?
Yes, sir. Over the last 24 hours, we've been seeing an influx of traffic. A lot of customers preparing for the storm. We're trying to anticipate a lot of panic buying. A lot of the essentials that they're looking for, of course, like you said, the water, the ice melt, maybe a shovel to kind of make that path in your driveway. A lot of batteries, just in case the electricity goes out. So you will need a flashlight, maybe a radio, things essential so you can kind of know what's going on and kind of track the storm and its progress.
And so we were talking a little bit about this earlier before we came on. We had a snow event last January. Sure. So this is kind of like try number 2 for all of us. So we kind of saw what we didn't have last year. Are you seeing the same number of people come in? Or are they going after the same items?
Same items, same spill as last year. I think this year we're more prepared. For us, we have strategic stocking plans in place to make sure we keep things like milk, eggs, and water filled, because we know we're going to see customers pretty much throughout the whole day to get those items.
So we were walking around the grocery area. Pretty much everything seemed stocked, and if it wasn't, there were people stocking it at that moment. You guys must have a lot of stuff in the back. When you saw the plans or the initial forecast, maybe the last 4 or 5 days, did extra trucks come in? Did you guys make sure you stocked different items? Or did Walmart do that to make sure that this location and other locations in the metro are going to be prepared for the customers coming in?
Yeah, for sure. Walmart's a great company. We're a large corporation, and we do a good job to plan ahead. So we have multiple trucks come in, trucks of water, trucks of milk, eggs, to make sure we have those items in stock in the back room to make sure we're taking care of the customers today, tomorrow, and as things heighten up as the storm approaches.
Well, Tyrese, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, pretty much all of these items are still in stock here. I'll tell you, at least at this location, we've seen a couple people trying to take this demonstration item that we have here for this live shot because folks are really hoping for the ice melt, that salt, to be able to make sure that they're able to safely walk where they need to, or maybe to get their car out, because we know that ice can be problematic for walking and driving. So we're going to have to obviously wait and see, but they expect this afternoon to obviously get busier as folks get off work. They want to make sure they can get those last minute essentials before Friday and maybe before Saturday morning, because obviously, as Jonathan was saying, we're expecting the storm later on Saturday. But for Metro Atlanta, we're going to have to be prepared just in case things obviously go worse than everyone's hoping. Obviously, it's going to be better than it could be. Elise?
Yeah, absolutely. All eyes on what is expected to happen this weekend. So, Tyler, thank you so much, and a good reminder that lots of things to prepare for whatever comes our way. So, Tyler, thank you so much for that. And just a quick reminder for those of you who are watching right now, remember you can stream us live on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, or of course, Fox Local as well. I'm actually looking at Instagram right now, and I see all the comments. I see one of you saying, looks like Adrian Quincy writing in to say, going back to Florida. So he is not planning to stick around. I'm sure temperatures a little bit warmer there, but lots of places that you can watch us and just stay up to date on what's expected to happen weather-wise in your neighborhood. But a little bit earlier today, we also heard from Governor Brian Kemp just weighing in on the state of things here in Georgia, what they're prepared for when it comes to the weather. So let's listen in together to what the governor had to say.
As you all know, we have a very experienced team when it comes to winter weather and other storm events that affected our state. I just want to thank them for what they do every day, but especially during those tough times when we've experienced some really nasty weather here in our state. And last week we were thinking we might get a little of that. Thankfully we didn't, but we had the team ramped up and ready to go, and it was a good trial run to get ready for what's coming at us. Also, just want to thank Will Langston, state meteorologist, and the National Weather Service folks. We've obviously been in constant communication with them, and we will as the storm continues to move toward us. You'll hear from Director Lamb at GEMA in just a few minutes. I just want to thank our local emergency management folks around the state that we've been coordinating with. Obviously, the Georgia Department of Transportation, Commissioner McMurray and his team are on point and ready to roll. Colonel Hitchens and the Georgia State Patrol will be out as needed prior to the storm getting here, but also responding after it hits. I want to thank our Agriculture Commissioner, Tyler Harper, and our Forestry Commission Director, Johnny Zabo. Their teams are ready in case we need chainsaw cut teams anywhere around the state to help clear roads for power companies and so on. I had a call with Georgia Power earlier today with their weather folks, but also getting an update as they're already moving assets to be prepared for whatever may hit, along with their other utility partners, our EMCs and others. So just want to thank them and all the other stakeholders that are in preparation with us. Obviously, from the weather reports, when you know that we're still expecting a major winter storm to impact much of Georgia, we feel like this is going to be an event that's going to happen north of I-20, but that line could move north or south depending on what the temperatures do and what that would throw at us. So we just want all of Georgia to be winter aware, and certainly people in central Georgia. You could be impacted if the temperatures stay above freezing. You may not, but we just don't know yet, and we'll keep you posted on that. But it's good to be winter weather aware, as we talked about yesterday. The winter storm watch is in effect for North Georgia from Friday evening through Monday morning. We think we'll experience significant snow, sleet, and/or freezing rain possible in these counties throughout the weekend, and that'll start early Saturday morning. As I just mentioned, literally a degree or two in temperature can affect whether we have rain or snow/ice or freezing rain. So that is something that we're just going to have to continue to watch and communicate with, which is why we're asking everyone to be prepared in case we have significant ice accumulation. Obviously, that's treacherous on the roads, but also creates a lot of problems with our utilities and especially our electric power lines and other things. Temperatures will remain below or near freezing early into next week, so we're watching that as well. State actions that I've taken to this point, just declared a state of emergency for all Georgia counties effective immediately. That executive order will be posted here shortly. The duration of that will be 7 days. Obviously, if we need it longer than that, we'll extend that. I've also authorized a call up of 500 National Guardsmen. Now, obviously, we do not have a need for those folks right now. Hopefully we won't, but we just want to be prepared in case we do, that we can move and get General Wilson and his team responding as quick as possible. So that'll be part of the executive order. We've also suspended truck weights, which will allow us to move fuel and other things around the state as it's needed, as we're urging people to, there's plenty of time before this hits, but just, go ahead and fill your cars up. Make sure you got the things that you need at your house to stay warm and hunker down in case you lose power for a day or two. And this will just help us, the truck weights, to allow moving assets around. Also, many of our partners, including Georgia Power and others, Department of Transportation, they're already moving assets to be deployed in the areas that we think may be affected, so we can move very quickly when the storm gets here. We are activating the State Operations Center starting at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning and running 24/7 until the weather event has passed. GEMA has been in constant contact with the local emergency management folks, as I mentioned earlier. They're also coordinating with state and federal agencies, and that includes working with the Department of Public Health to ensure that nursing homes know who to call if they lose power. The Georgia Department of Transportation will begin treating roads early Saturday morning, so around midnight or early midnight Friday, early Saturday morning, north of I-20. So just be on the lookout if you happen to be on the roads for those trucks that will be out Brian, and just give them plenty of room, be courteous to them, and let them do their work. As I mentioned earlier, Department of Agriculture, Department of Natural Resources, the Forestry Commission chainsaw crews are all ready, will respond if needed. State troopers are prepared to respond and assist motorists. But the biggest thing people can do, it looks like this storm's going to come in, a little later on Saturday than we originally thought. So folks need to start getting off the roads on Saturday night. If it's bad where you are on Sunday, just do us a favor, do the State Patrol, DOT, all the other folks, utility crews, if they're out working, if you can just stay off the roads, that would be a big favor to us and help keep everybody safe. We're still early in this weather event's impact on our state, but I can let you know that we'll be monitoring this 24/7. We'll certainly keep the public updated. I've asked, my team at the Capitol, and then obviously Director Lamb at the State Operations Center, to keep everyone updated, as I will be doing as well. We're thinking the line that's most going to be affected right now, the way the modeling looks, is going to be 400 north of the city of Atlanta, the 85 corridor north going toward Gainesville, the Athens area, really all the way to the South Carolina line. A lot of that, though, is going to depend on what the temperatures do. If the temperatures are a little colder than we think, that line is obviously going to move down toward middle Georgia and Macon and in that part of the state. If for some reason that doesn't happen, that line could move a little further north, but that's the best that we can tell you right now. And we'll certainly keep you posted on that. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Director Lamb. He'll give his report. We'll sign off, and then we'll keep you posted as we get more information. But thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, Governor. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So what I'd like to talk about this morning is preparedness and what people can do to be proactive before the storm gets here. Here at GEMA Homeland Security, we encourage everyone to start preparing for potential winter weather impacts now. By being ready for the storm, Georgians can do their part in minimizing risk, reducing the time it takes to recover, and most importantly, prevent the loss of life. The main actions to take now are to prepare your family, prepare your home, and prepare your car. First, prepare your family. Sit down with your family and make a communications plan. Know how you'll contact one another and reconnect if separated. Take time to check on families, neighbors, friends, anyone who may need extra assistance during the storm. Make sure you have enough non-perishable food, water, and medications for at least 3 days. Ensure you have warm clothing and blankets and flashlights and batteries, and update your first aid kit and a way to keep your phone charged. Next, prepare your home. Take precautions like installing and testing smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors, covering outdoor pipes, sealing doors, windows, and cleaning out your gutters. Think of ways to safely heat your house, especially if the power goes out. Remember to never use an oven to heat your home, and don't bring a portable generator inside due to the threat of carbon monoxide. Lastly, prepare your car. Before the storm hits, make sure your gas tank is full and prepare an emergency car kit, including a first aid kit, cell phone charger, jumper cables, blankets, water, snacks, and an ice scraper. Once the storm hits, stay off the roads as much as possible. If travel is necessary, slow down and allow extra time. And be especially careful on bridges and overpasses which freeze first. Not only does staying off the roads ensure residents' safety, but it also gives Georgia DOT crews the time they need to maintain the condition of the roads. In conclusion, GEMA Homeland Security will continue to monitor the winter weather forecast and collaborate with local, state officials to assess conditions and determine the best steps to keep Georgians safe. It's crucial that everyone pay attention to guidance from their local officials and continue to monitor your local National Weather Service and trusted news sources for the most updated information. GEMA Homeland Security will provide additional information and updates regarding the winter weather via our website. That's at gema.georgia.gov and social media at Georgia EMAHS, all one word. So just in conclusion, remember, be prepared, have a ready kit, have a communications plans, take precautions, don't panic, and please stay informed and stay off the roads. Thank you, Governor.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll keep you posted. Have a great day. God bless.
Hearing from the governor right there, and also Chris Lamb with GEMA as well. All right, our time is 11:26 right now, and still ahead, President Trump wants credit card companies to cap interest rates at 10%. So we're going to talk about what that really means for you next. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for being with us here on the stream today. So President Trump is calling on credit card companies to cap interest rates at 10% by January 20th. It's a move that supporters say could save Americans about $100 billion a year. Major banks, though, are opposing the plan. So joining us now to talk about it, we have Richard Hunt. He's the executive chairman of the Electronic Payments Coalition. So, Richard, thank you so much for being with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Hey, let's dive into this. So President Trump says a 10% cap is something that would help consumers. So what actually happens if this cap goes into effect?
So we thoroughly appreciate what the president is trying to do, trying to make life more affordable for all Americans, including, of course, those in Georgia. This is not a new plan. This is something Bernie Sanders is trying to get passed in Congress for many decades. We know there are high grocery prices. We know it's expensive to eat out. That is the underlying cause to affordability. However, to reduce your credit card interest rate to 10% would mean that 4.7 Georgia cardholders would lose access to credit. That's some 83% of all cardholders just in Georgia. For a credit card, for many of us, it's a luxury. For many, it is a necessity. We want to make sure people, especially low to moderate income people, have access to credit to pay for groceries, to pay for prescription drugs. And look, you heard the Delta Airlines president just last week say low to moderate income individuals would be hard pressed to buy a ticket on Delta Airlines. So this isn't just a big bank issue. This is American families, this is small business owners, and community banks and credit unions across the country are opposed to this legislation. So we understand what the president is trying to do, but this would have a draconian effect on small businesses and Americans throughout the country.
Okay, so looking at this through a different lens, of course. So supporters are saying, though, that this could save Americans about $100 billion a year, which is a pretty wild estimate there. I mean, $100 billion is a lot of money. So why are banks, though, disagreeing with that estimate?
Oh, we're not disagreeing with the intent of doing this, but we provide access to credit for so many people. If they didn't have a credit card, they would go to payday lenders, to loan sharks. We want to make sure when we give a credit card to anybody in Georgia, they can have the ability to repay. We want to make sure people can repay their credit card on a timely basis, and we work with customers all the time. This is an unsecured risk we're taking with consumers. We want to do every single thing we can to make sure they pay us back, and we encourage people, if they're having a hard time paying their bill, please call your bank, call your credit card company to make sure we can work with you to make sure you can pay your bill on time and not affect your credit score.
So you mentioned specifically, Richard, small businesses. So tell us how small businesses would be impacted negatively by this.
So small businesses rely on the credit card to buy inventory. They rely on the reward points to pay their employees and to buy equipment. If they didn't have a credit card, they could not purchase that inventory. This is basically a 30-day interest-free loan. Unfortunately, most small businesses live paycheck to paycheck, statement to statement. So they use the credit card to provide a float. If 83% of everybody in Georgia who has a credit card today loses their credit card, think about the draconian effect. I'm glad the credit card was around during COVID so restaurants could stay in business. Unfortunately, you're seeing many people having to use their credit card to buy groceries during this weekend. Think about if the credit card did not exist. How would you make those purchases? And how would the small business person stay in business?
So let me ask you this. If a 10% cap isn't the right fix here, and you've made it clear you do not think that that is the right fix here for Americans, for small businesses, then what should policymakers maybe do instead to help consumers?
Yeah, well, one thing we don't want to have to do is the United States government start mandating prices on small businesses. Where does it start? Where does it end? Usually when D.C. politicians stay out of the marketplace, the better off we all are. We've got to attack the high prices at grocery stores and restaurants and bring those down. The president's packages have done quite a bit of work to level those prices, and maybe we can just get more done on the federal level. But the last thing you need to see happen is the federal government, D.C. politicians, telling Americans what they can charge for their goods and products. Where does it stop?
Asking the important questions, talking about a very important topic to a lot of Americans, to a lot of small business owners as well. So Richard Hunt, Executive Chairman of the Electronics Payments Coalition, with us on the stream today. Richard, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Stay safe this weekend.
And you as well. Thank you. All right, our time is 11:33. Let's get you into some of the big stories that we are following for you this morning. Beginning with this one, the founder of an Alpharetta financial firm has pleaded guilty to running a massive Ponzi scheme. One prosecutor says, in fact, it's the largest in Georgia history. So we're talking about Todd Burkhalter. He's 54, and he admitted to using his company, Drive Planning LLC, to defraud more than 2,000 investors out of their money there. It's at about $380 million here, many convinced to invest retirement savings and life insurance money as well. So prosecutors say that he promised high returns from real estate loans, but instead used fake property documents and paid early investors with new money. Now, some of the properties didn't even exist. Authorities say he went on to use the name of a well-known Atlanta developer without permission in order to gain credibility. And instead of investing the money, they say he funded a lavish lifestyle. He went all out, bought a luxury condo in Mexico. Looks like he bought a yacht as well, private jet travel, high-end vehicles, and jewelry. Prosecutors are recommending a 17.5-year prison sentence. The company's former chief operating officer was convicted in December and will be sentenced March 17th. A court-appointed receiver is now working to recover money for victims, and investigators say more victims may still come forward. So again, the largest Ponzi scheme in Georgia history. I want to move to this one. A veteran educator at Free Home Elementary School has been placed on administrative leave following allegations that she stole nearly $1,000 worth of merchandise from a local Walmart. So we're talking about Courtney Shaw. She's 47, and she was accused of using the stacking method at a Walmart, which is where she puts a stack of things up. She only ends up scanning, though, the item that's on the top. So then ends up, walking out with the rest of the money there. Cherokee County School District confirmed Shaw's employment. They say that she is on leave immediately at this time. Maintaining the safety and security of our students, they say, is a top priority. So she's been at Free Home Elementary School since 2014 as the assistant principal. They say that she's got 24 years of experience. And court dates for Shaw show that she was taken in on shoplifting and criminal trespass charges. But that's the most that we know about this right now. But a big story when you're talking about an assistant principal accused of shoplifting numerous times at a Walmart. So now to Mall of Georgia. This is pretty wild. Crews responded there to news of a fire there in the Dillard's department store. They say it happened at about 7:33. They reported a fire in a dumpster that was extending to the 3-story building. So heavy fire damage at a wall there was found there. Again, we're talking about the Dillards inside of there. They say there were about 40 people that had to be evacuated from the store at the Mall of Georgia. No one was hurt, though, so that's some good news. Dillard's employees told firefighters they did notice a small fire in the dumpster. They tried putting out the fire with extinguishers, but they didn't have any success with that. They're saying this was an accident. They're not thinking that this was set intentionally at this time, but they also have not said what they think caused those flames in the dumpster there at a Dillard's at Mall of Georgia. And now to Clayton County. Now, this is where police are searching for someone who shot a 2-year-old and also a woman. They're saying that this happened on Twin Creek Court on Wednesday night. So police responded to a home in the 6,000 block of Twin Creek Court at about 7 p.m. And they say that's where they found a woman and a toddler. They've been shot. Authorities say the woman had been grazed on her back. The child was actually shot in the leg. Both of those victims were taken to the hospital. Police told Fox 5 the victims were struck by stray bullets that came from a park located behind the home. So this investigation is ongoing. Police do not have a suspect in custody just yet. They're actively searching for the shooter or shooters here. So it's not clear what led up to the shooting or, at this point, their conditions, how that 2-year-old and how the mom are doing. But again, the 2-year-old shot in the leg and that mother was struck by a stray bullet in the back. Well, still ahead for you in just a few minutes. We're talking about how there's been a huge travel surge in Atlanta with news of the World Cup happening this summer. So we'll get into it next. Welcome back, everyone. Our time looks like it's 11:40 now on this Thursday. So let's get into some of our national headlines that we're following for you this morning, beginning with this one. Talking about Vice President J.D. Vance. He is headed to Minneapolis today. This is amid heightened tensions over federal immigration enforcement. So he'll deliver remarks. He'll hold a roundtable with local leaders. He'll meet with ICE agents just to reaffirm federal support. This is all according to the White House. And this comes after the deadly January 7th shooting of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE agent. And of course, that has sparked protest and political conflict. So Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and other Democratic leaders have also been subpoenaed by the Justice Department over alleged interference with federal operations. And earlier today, Vance stopped in Ohio to speak about the administration's efforts to lower prices before continuing to Minnesota. And this is also coming from the White House. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine and also former President Trump, not former, met about an hour ago at Davos. This is according to the Ukrainian presidential office. So the meeting was private, no photo ops, questions from the press were taken. But reports do indicate the leaders had a brief one-on-one conversation at the end of it. So they did talk privately. And earlier, the president said that ending the Russia-Ukraine war was a top priority for him. He also noted that U.S. representatives will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday. So some news there coming out of Davos. Meanwhile, European leaders are holding some emergency talks. This is to chart a new course in transatlantic relations. The EU leaders met in Brussels on Thursday. This comes after President Trump walked back his threat to take over Greenland and just slap tariffs on 8 European nations that were supporting Denmark. So it also comes after the president said that he and NATO discussed a, quote, framework for a future deal with the Arctic island. European leaders are also expected to agree on a joint approach to the president's newly formed Board of Peace, which was initially envisioned as just a small group of world leaders overseeing the Gaza ceasefire, but its claim has grown into something far more ambitious. It's 11:42 now, and we got to talk about this. This is, of course, something very exciting that's happening in Atlanta. The World Cup is making its way here. So on news of that, search engine Kayak is showing that an interest in flights to Atlanta has surged. Let's see here, 140% following the recent group selection draw. So significant. So joining us to talk a bit about this, we have Kayla DeRoche with Kayak, just to break down the travel trends and what it means for Atlanta. So Kayla, thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So this is wild. I mean, a 140% surge in flights to Atlanta right now. And this is, we think, driven by news of what's happening this summer?
For sure. So we're seeing a lot of travel interest, both nationwide and globally. So travel search interest into Atlanta during the World Cup is up 70%, and globally it's up over 140%. So almost double that. So we're seeing people come from all over the world heading into Atlanta this summer for the games.
So who's showing the most interest, would you say, in traveling to Atlanta? If that's data we can see, is it domestic travelers or is it more international visitors?
Definitely internationally. I mean, again, we're seeing a lot of interest from both, but one surprising fact was interest from England was up over 300% post-group selection. So the Brits are feeling very confident about their team that they'll go far because Atlanta is actually hosting the semifinals. So if the Brits make it, you know, they're feeling confident about their team.
How interesting. So are they still in just like the browsing phase of things, or are we seeing them actually booking travel to come?
Totally. So Kayak is a meta search. So we're seeing a lot of searches happening. So once you're ready to book, we direct you to our partners. So right now we're seeing a lot of searches, but I would say the sooner for those who are interested in traveling to the World Cup, we do tend to see prices increase the closer you get to the event. So if you are interested in going, the sooner the better.
So what should travelers know, Kayla, if they're hoping to maybe attend some matches this summer here?
Yeah. So we're also seeing an increase in price for hotels. So hotel prices in Atlanta right now are up about 59%. I do anticipate that increasing the closer we get to the games. But for those who are looking to go, setting a price alert on Kayak is a great way to track those prices to see whether, how prices are faring, whether they go up or down. So definitely setting a price alert on Kayak and using some of our AI tools too. So if you're into the free form search, you can easily do that on Kayak, type in, what days should I depart or leave or depart for the cheapest airfare.
So let's talk, beyond the games here. Let's talk about how this surge could impact, Atlanta tourism, the local economy. I think that's got a lot of folks, excited about the possibilities this summer as well.
For sure. Historically, a lot of big games, concerts, anything like that happening in an area. I mean, we saw it a lot with some concerts last year with the Eras Tour and stuff like that. So whenever there's a big game like this, we do tend to see a ton of tourism into the area. And this is actually the largest World Cup to date. So we're definitely seeing that factor into the travel interest we're seeing.
Very interesting. Talking about this travel surge here in Atlanta, 140% with news of World Cup matches being held here in Atlanta. So Kayla Deloach with Kayak, thank you so much for breaking this down for us. This is going to be a big one, Kayla.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate that. All right, well, moving on now. This is pretty interesting. So it's now to a first in the state. We're talking about the Universal Technical Institute. It's opening up its first and only location in Georgia this year. So we have our Chris Rosenthal, who's joining us now with just a look and with what this is all about. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Elise. Yeah, I got my hard hat on today and taking a tour of this new facility of Universal Technical Institute is opening up in just a few months. This is, we talked about skilled trades a lot, and they'll be able to do train students in a variety of different fields, from automotive and HVAC and welding and many more. We're going to talk more about some of those later. But I'm joined by Todd Gibbs here. He is with Universal Technical Institute. First of all, just tell me, this is just one of many rooms and areas here. What do we have here? Let's walk around. What will this area be used for?
Yes, so this is the transportation lab area. So all the big space out here is going to be used for the automotive program, and then diesel will be over here. Then we also have a combined auto diesel program. So this will be the lab where all the cars are housed, all the trucks and so forth. And then on the exterior, you can see the rooms, and that's where classrooms that go along with the labs. So there's various things in there, whether it be refrigeration for diesel and so forth.
You guys have campuses around the country, and this is new for Atlanta.
Yep.
Why Atlanta? Why is this such a big market?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about UTI is it expands. They take a look at where the needs are. I mean, that's what it's about, where the employer needs are, where the students come from, and so forth. So, they've done that. We were already pulling students from Atlanta to Orlando and other campuses, so it just made a lot of sense to have another campus in the Southeast. Atlanta is a great area. I mean, Georgia as a state, they're looking at a 13% increase in automotive positions, which comes out to about 2,700 jobs annually per year until 2032, and a lot of the other trades are the same. So there's a huge need in Georgia alone, and especially in the Atlanta area, so it just made a lot of sense to come here, partner with the community, and try to fill those gaps.
When students come out of here, what sort of options, what sort of jobs, what sort of industries do they have at their fingertips?
Yeah, so our programs range from 9 months to a year and a half, depending on which program you're in. So once they're graduated, whether they're working in field before they graduate, we do have programs for that. They'll go right out into their career. So the programs that we have at this campus, we have automotive, diesel, diesel as a combined program. Then we have our aviation maintenance program, electronics, robotics, and electrical program, and then also aviation, HVAC, and welding. So all of those are skilled trades that are needed with the infrastructure and so forth in the United States. It's just going to have a very big impact on that.
Lots of opportunity there. This school will be opened up. They'll be opened up in March, and then opened up to take students in July.
Right.
You're still hiring for some positions for the school, and then if students want to, if there's anybody out there watching this that's interested in enrolling, go to uti.edu.
Right. Yeah. Just go to the website, and that will walk you through, and it'll talk more about the specific programs and so forth.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to hang with you guys throughout the day here. Again, this construction site, but pretty soon this will be a full-on school. And this is just one small section. We'll look at some other sections. We'll look at some other sections here later throughout the day. Back to you guys.
Yeah, what a cool look. Great insight into what they have going on out there. So, Chris, thank you so much for showing us that. We appreciate it. It's 11:50 now, and we're talking about a new jail art program. We're going to give you a look at what these incarcerated individuals are getting into next. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, a newer program at the Clark County Jail has the aim of educating incarcerated individuals and just bringing out their creativity through art, which is something you don't typically think a lot about when you're talking about a jail, right? So we've got our Eli Jordan, who's joining us live now just to get into this and what the program is all about. Hey, Eli.
Hey, good morning, Elise. Yeah, I am at the Linden House Arts Center, where they have teamed up with the Athens Clark County Sheriff and for creative tracks, where they get incarcerated people to express themselves creatively with art. And I am with the art instructor, Kristen Bach. Hey, Kristen, how are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for coming out and seeing our exhibit. I'm doing great.
So I've been looking at these, and just tell me, what have you guys done? How long have you guys doing this, and how did it start?
Well, we've been doing it. We started it in August of 2024, and we have had 4 sessions with different groups of individuals. We typically, when I go in, it is my goal to break down the stereotypes of art and really make every one of my students feel and understand that we're all artists. And through introductions of art history and different contemporary art that is being made, we will create projects based on what they really are interested in doing. A lot of times they are collective projects. So this was a collaboration that my first group of students did.
And so, yeah, I was noticing this. So you said this is like a before, present, and after, right?
Yes.
It's
yes.
Like, this is like, I guess, the collaborative piece of their lives prior to going in jail, incarceration. Yep. And so they collaborate. There does seem to be a lot of stress in this piece right here, and chaos, and maybe some violence or whatever. And then this is what, the present?
This is the
crossroads.
So it's kind of their time in jail. They're addressing traumas. They're reflecting a lot. They're, in a real time of discomfort in their lives.
And then this is the future that they see, right?
Yes.
And this is really good because this is much lighter, it's brighter, more calming and stuff. And then it has to, this really has to make you feel good to see, artists be able to express themselves. And then, it's just a stark contrast of how they see their lives, and they're able to kind of like express themselves in ways they haven't been able to before, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, these students are really given a gift, and I think they're all glad once they get through this program, because they're given a lot of tools they didn't have before. And for a lot of my students, it's the first time that they have been seen or heard and been able to feel comfortable being vulnerable and processing a lot of their past traumas and history.
So tonight's the big night. What happens tonight at 5 o'clock or 5:30, I guess?
5:30, we will have an opening, and we hope a lot of our students who have been through this program will join us, who are released. And really, it's our great goal for all of these artists to be brought into the community and be welcomed. So I'm excited. I hope that a lot of my students do come and they're able to meet faces they haven't met before and see their work on the wall. It's incredible.
It is incredible. And then, we got this exhibit here, but also too, though, this exhibit opens up tonight and here at the Linden House in Athens, and it runs through March 21st.
Yep.
And open to the public. Just go to accgov.com/Linden House.
Yep.
And you information. But I guess you guys are excited tonight to have this opening tonight here at the Linden House in Athens, Georgia. And I will give it back to you, Elise.
This is
here
great.
From the Linden House.
Yeah, such a fun look at that, and just amazing artwork there, talking about the Clark County Jail. So Eli, thank you so much for showing us that. We appreciate it. It's 11:57. We hope you'll stick around. We've got more news and weather headed your way at noon. Take care.